Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to DUM SEO Questions, episode 186. Each week we meet here to answer the questions asked on the SEO Questions community on Google+. With us tonight we have David Rozam, world's greatest SEO copywriter, if I'm reading this correctly. I'm sorry, David, I can't read your writing. David has been an SEO for 10 or 12 years and an SEO copywriter for 32 or more. He doesn't look that old.
Changes every week, doesn't it? It's good. I like it.
David can be found at writingforseo.org. He lives in the UK. Well, never mind. Masataki Wasa is CEO of wasaweb.net. He is also a Google top contributor on the AdSense community, and he posts lots of photos. All right, Masataki lives in Wimbledon in the UK, but we won't hold that against him. Micah Fisher-Kirshner is a regular speaker on the speaking circuit. He was last seen at SMX something. SMX? No, it wasn't.
Martech.
What was it? Martech, that's right. Micah is on the west coast of the USA. He's also the senior SEO manager for Zendesk.com. Tim Capper is in the UK, CEO of OnlineOwnership.com. He's also a Google top contributor on the Google My Business community. Okay, so our first question tonight, just let me tweet that and click the button. I haven't had time to look at these. This one's titled, "What do you think is behind a decrease in click-through ratio?" Posted by Jared Ulster. Jared said, "Hi, a question for the group. What do you think is behind a decrease in click-through ratio, even though position and impressions have both improved? Nothing has changed in the title tags or meta descriptions either. Thanks."
So it depends on what the position improved from. If originally he was in, let's say, position 10, and he moved up to position 8, and there's been studies in the past where you kind of get caught in a bit of a gap. As people are scrolling down the page, they miss your result and jump down to positions 9 or 10. So that would lead to an increased position, potentially more impressions, but maybe not. But also that, your CTR would drop. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to relate only to a specific position change. So it could be that you've increased position further up, but where you are now might be just above, maybe just below, an image carousel, a local news result. There could be a variety of universal results that are now you're closer to or are now showing up. So those are potential reasons for why your CTR may have gone down, even while your position or your impressions even have gone up.
Thank you, Micah. Does anybody have anything to add to that? Okay. Here's one from Ankit Patel. He asks in a question titled "Safe Method to Install Universal Analytics." He said, "Which is the safe method to install Universal Analytics in a WordPress website?"
Protective clothing and a long pair of tongs. No, actually, where are we? Suraj Gadagay said what I've done on my site, which is to use Google Analytics by Yoast, the plugin, and that does it for you and doesn't mess it up.
Yeah, and we thank Suraj Gadagay for his tireless work in the SEO Questions community on Google+, and all of the other forum heroes that do answer these questions as they're lodged, leaving us the joy of summarising and summing up at the end of the week. Well, for us, the end of the week is Thursday. All right, let's call that an answer because it is. And our next is from another one from Ankit Patel, titled SEO Consideration when switching domain. Clients have two domains for their services. Both have the same content and same pages. If we change to one site, it will also reflect to the other site. I'm not sure that's a great idea. But the issue is now that the client wants to target a new domain for SEO. For SEO, they choose newdomain.com, which is not already indexed in Google. I suggested to them to redirect the old domain.com to new.com, but they have an issue with that. Is there any alternative solution to index a new domain in search engines? Currently, Google index old.com. I'm not sure what that means. If I add disallow robots text to www.olddomain.com, it was automatically added to www.newdomain.com? Don't think so. Can I suggest to them to add a canonical tag on all domains, on all pages of newdomain.com? Boy, oh boy.
Let's see. Yeah, canonical tag. I'm more concerned about the first part, but maybe it's just not explained concretely enough. So is this 3 domains in the end, or is it just 2?
I think they mean 3 domains, a third domain. They're introducing a third domain, but I wonder if they've got 2 domains that are functional, why combine them and then make one a mirror of the other?
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, they need to make sure all of the domains, if it's all the same content, that one of them is shown to be the main site. So canonical tag is there. 3-1 redirect is possible. Otherwise, 2 of the 3 are going to have to not be allowed in Google's index. There's pretty much, and yeah, as you mentioned, the robots.txt is not available. So yeah, if they want to show up and do well for SEO, they're going to have something that basically says all of these 3, there's only one that can be. I was going to make a Highlander joke, but I failed. So yeah, there could only be one.
Yeah, you should be careful about trying to make jokes. I mean, and failing. I mean, David Roseanne is here to fail at making jokes. He's stepping on your turf, David.
He will sink into the mud, he will.
Thanks, Micah. Does anybody else have a comment on this for Ankit Patel? My 2 cents is that ranking is a treasure these days. Once you've got it, don't mess about with it. If you've got 2 websites that are doing okay, unless there's a maintenance issue, that might be the reason, or perhaps it might be hosting. He doesn't want to pay for. Well, no, he's going to leave the other site up and reflect it. So it's not hosting. So I don't see the reason for closing the other. For taking all the content off one of the sites, putting it on the other, and then mirroring it with the first domain. Fine, if you want to make a 3rd website and wait for that to go, but gee, ranking is so hard to get. Why mess with it? That'd be my thoughts anyway. Nobody else?
Well, I'm a bit addled and confused by all this. It seems that the way I read it is that they've got two domains, 2 identical sites, and they're running, and they're not getting very good results from it. So they want a new one for SEO. In other words, a new one that they think they can rank better than the other 2. But that's going to be the same as the other 2 in terms of content. So it'll just have the same problem as the other 2, I think.
Well, worse than the problem, because unless they canonicalize one to the other, one's a duplicate of the other.
They're all duplicates.
They're all duplicates, yes. They're all the same. And the way I read this question is they think that by having a 3rd domain, there's going to be something magical about the 3rd domain that will solve their lack of ranking problems, their SEO problems. But
maybe an exact match on the name for the keyword they're looking for, but that's nothing guaranteed these days, is it?
No. I don't know. We might be misinterpreting this, but it's difficult. I think that Ankit might well have to come back with a clarification, because we're all a bit confused, I think. Or maybe it's just me. I've been out in the sun. I know I look white, but I've been out in the sun. Get me vitamin D. You'll know, Masataki.
Well, summing up, can we say to Ankit Patel that he should put a hand on each of his client's shoulders and look him in the eye and say, don't do this?
If we know what they're actually doing, yes. But a new domain won't improve SEO magically, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Ankit Patel, I hope that's, well, it's obviously not the answer you're looking for, but it's about all we've got, and I don't think anybody's disagreeing. All right, let's move on to the next. Chase Rayner, our good friend Chase Rayner, said, can I get your opinions on how long an alt tag for an image should be? I usually make mine 3 to 4 words, but I've seen some that are entire sentences. Also, the title attribute for links or pictures, is it worth using? If so, can it exact match the alt text for an image? see by the community answers, you already know what I think and what Giselle De Leon thinks, and also I think Siraj Gadagay also answered, but it hasn't shown up there. I'll have to fix that.
Yeah, I'll go along with that as well. I would I would shy away from writing War and Peace on it, but yes, sufficient to do the job.
All right, Chase, I hope you're happy with that. Here's one from Saban Tariq. We're powering through these tonight, guys. We've only got 10. We've already done 5. Saban said, "Hi guys, I want some suggestions. I own this website, thefashionamerica.com. I have a question. How can I rank my website? I tried a lot of tricks to make backlinks, but in Alexa there is only one backlink showing. I am very worried. Can anyone help me in this regard?" Saban. By the way, Saban, if you're listening to this, would you mind changing that your post so that your links are disabled? It's not that we think that you're looking for a link, but if we allowed links on our questions, it would be even tougher to delete the spammers posts from our community.
So,
oh, okay, sorry, carry on.
I was just going to say I wouldn't use Alexa for your data. If you're going to look for trackings and backlink information, there are a lot of great tools out there, both from a content side, backlinks, competitive analysis. SEMrush is one of those that you can consider and kind of recommend. It's a nice, it's pretty cheap and it will serve for your purpose. Just kind of off the bat, just kind of as an FYI. But yeah, go ahead, David.
I was just going to say that I think there are 2 things that worry me about this. One is the focus on links, and the second is the use of the word tricks. If tricks is the word, don't do tricks. They generally are things that have been discredited. So I think I'm just starting to have a look at the website here.
Yeah, and I think that's even bigger problem. I think he should hire you, David, to give the text a thorough once-over, as it were, because it really needs proper proofreading, editing. I mean, some of the sentences don't make sense. I mean, you know, it is at the
just
moment.
Look at the first post, and like, you want to annoy users? Take a look at the discussion about discussing fashion.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that second picture.
I mean, it is a random collection of words at the moment, which strung up together don't exactly make sense. So I think there is a far more fundamental and serious issue than, you know, tricks and ranking, because at the moment the content doesn't make sense. I don't wish to be harsh or nasty about it, but I honestly I can't really make sense of what has been written.
I'm wondering whether this is spun content from something else, because it's not actually, it doesn't come across as actually being written.
Yeah, it might be some sort of auto-generated content, machine spun or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, what we can say with a reasonable amount of confidence is that it's not something written by a professional writer. It's not something that's been written to the standard of a professional writer, or to the standard you'd expect from either a mother tongue speaker or someone who has learned the language very well.
Yeah, pretty sure. I mean, there's no information about or contact us that gives any hint to the purpose or the reason for who this person is. So, kind of seems definitely like a spam site.
Yes, I think it is. And the other thing is that there's some content September 2015, October 2015, and then nothing until March 2016.
Mm.
And nothing this month. So it's going to be saying the wrong things from the point of view of what's happening on the site and how relevant the content is, because most of it's pretty old now.
Yeah, and then I'm not 100% sure what the purpose of the site is. I mean, is it a simple blog? Is it a news site? Is it trying to sell something?
I have no idea. I can't see anything being sold, but maybe they're looking for the sufficient traffic before they put ads on it or something.
And that's just not going to happen with the content the way it is. I mean, Google has algorithms to detect spun content, which are fairly sophisticated these days. It's just not worth the effort. All right, let's call that an answer. Thank you, Saban. But in summary, as Sam Ma said on the community through the week, if you're interested in incoming links, you can check that via the Google console. As Micah said, don't bother using Alexa for that purpose. And as Masataki and Micah and David said and Tim Kappa thought, have your SEO copywriter go through this site and turn it back into real English, or if Tim was doing it, real Russian. Okay, let's move on to the next. Peter Cornish said, or asked a question on minimizing the exposure to a duplicated content issue. Peter said, I'm looking to salvage some good content from a regional site we are shutting down and bring it into the mothership. We'd appreciate thoughts on the best approach that minimizes exposure to a duplicated content issue. Well, I think this is fairly straightforward. Before you shut the site down, canonicalize the pages to where they're going to land on the primary domain, and put the pages there. Don't worry about both pages being mirrors of each other, because you're adding a canonical link to each one on the regional site, which will tell Googlebot that that's where the real content lies. And once the traffic from Googlebot has dropped right off, you can then shut down the regional site. But until Googlebot has had time to crawl each page at least once with the canonical tag intact, you should leave it where it is. Does that sound like a good plan, guys? Apparently not.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think simply enough through running the content over to specific URLs, fitting it into the site is, for the most part, going to be sufficient. But yeah, don't just wholesale don't do the whole domain all to one URL. Just make sure you match them one for one, and depending on the size of the site, then things can kind of vary. The larger you are, the more complicated it's going to get. But the likelihood is this is probably a smaller end of a website, so yeah, just 312 to similar URLs. That should provide all that you need.
Excellent. Okay, Peter Cornish, I hope that you're happy with that response. Kyle Hawke needs some advice on how to strategize his SEO. Kyle said, "Hello all, happy Sunday. I want to get some advice on how to take my SEO strategy from here onwards. My website is doing very well. For my top 3 keywords, I am #1 for each. However, my website has several pages, 242 as of right now to be precise, that have content that is specific to other areas. For example, the entire website is based on finding a random new show to watch. And each show has its own directory / page. What I am finding is that these pages are ranking anywhere from about position 10 or greater on the search engine results page. So my question is, do I shift my efforts from the main page, home page, to this subdirectory and attempt to get them to rank higher, or what does he write there? I missed it. Or should I continue to concentrate my efforts on the website's main page and hopefully the rest follow its success? Thank you all for your time and advice. I was on here a few months back and received advice that helped me move my website to where it is today. Many thanks, and Kyle Hawke, many thanks to you for your positive response. You must have been away that day, Tim.
Let's see.
More than likely.
Oh, go ahead.
While they're quiet, shall I jump in?
Go for it.
shows. Are we talking TV shows here? If so, once you get away from the uniqueness of the proposition, which is finding random shows to watch, there's a lot of content about TV shows out there on the web. So my feeling is that what you're up against is potentially, but without actually seeing the site and even understanding the proposition for sure, is that each of these pages is up against a lot of competition. So if you're suggesting someone watches Breaking Bad, say, there's an awful lot of content about Breaking Bad out there, from, say, Netflix site, say, to newspapers talking about how successful it was and what the actors are doing now and all that stuff. So I think that your specific pages are probably suffering from more competition than the home page. Is that a sensible conclusion, do we think?
Yeah. Sounds pretty sensible to me.
Yeah, so you're going to have to put in a lot of effort to make that content really, really good and get enough activity around it in the on the web. I think this is possibly quite a tough undertaking, because you're not part of the great publicity machine. Maybe you should be part of a great publicity machine and start producing content to compete with established entertainment sites and publications. I'm struggling a bit to be specific because I haven't seen the site and I'm not sure what I'm advising on. But it seems to me that you're going to have to look at these pages and look at the competition very closely and see what you're up against and how they're succeeding, how the top 10, how the top 20 are, why the top 10 and 20 are ranking the way they are, and from there you're going to have to put together a strategy that will compete with them, or even, well, really outstrip them. But as I say, it's rather general advice I'm giving because I haven't seen the pages. Maybe someone else has got a brainwave about how to be more constructive than that.
Well, I think that you hit the nail on the head, David. The 242 pages in the subdirectories are more than likely thin content of a type where each page is duplicated hundreds of thousands of times around the web, and the chances of doing anything useful with them is fairly slim. And as Kyle said, his question is, do I shift my efforts from the home page to the subdirectories, or should I continue to concentrate my efforts on the website's main page and hopefully the rest follow success? And so, summarising what you said, I think the advice for Kyle should be he should continue to concentrate his efforts on the home page, where he can write something that's unique, where he can pitch for something that's unique, but at the same time accept that the 242 pages that are in the subdirectory, which are more than likely references to the individual shows, will never ever perform at a high level. What do you think of that?
I think that I think I'd like to be a bit more positive than that, in as much as I suspect that the next stage on from that advice is give up, because the only pages that are ever going to rank are the on the home page, and well, it's a home page ranking for the 3 top keywords by the sound of it, isn't it? I think he's got to continue chipping away with the home page. I think he's got to do that, because that's the strength he's got. He can build on that. But I think that if he really wants those 242 pages to start ranking, he's going to have to bite the bullet and lay waste to his thin, formulaic, whatever content, and make those into fresh features about these shows. You know, it's going to have to be, you know, more than paragraph potted plot, who starred in it, who made it, and when it was originally released, and whether it got any awards or whatever. You know, it's going to have to be much more than that. So I think this is a bite the bullet stage for this this site. Kyle has either got to resign himself to being more or less where he is at the moment, or he's got to do something quite significant with the content.
Yeah, look, I don't argue with anything that you said, but I think it would be easier for Kyle to explore new fields, like new keywords with his homepage, and develop on his homepage, because that's the one where it's easiest for him to be unique. I mean, it's the same issue that's faced by TripAdvisor and Amazon. Only one listing can be number one, and you know, that is usually you know, the best result.
Mm.
Don't know where I was going with that, actually.
No, as I say, I think it's a bit difficult without seeing the site. You know, because I now thinking, well, you know, supposing I search on you know, the name of a show. I'm not necessarily looking to have this random suggestion of fresh stuff. So the question is, why would one want those to rank? Presumably because you can then say, hey, this is a new idea. If you're fed up with this stuff you're watching, how about this other thing? But I think whichever way, there's only so much he can milk out of the home page. So I think it's to significantly expand the expand what this site is doing, potential profitability, whatever, you can't just rely on a homepage. You've got to have the others performing, or some of the others performing significantly better.
Yeah. Okay. Have we covered this? I'm going to record that as a yes. Sam Ma said, I created backlinks and I worry about them. So do I. Sam said, I read various marketing reports about meetup.com and backlinks. These are very good for SEO link juice. I use this technique to generate 4,600 backlinks in 2.5 months. My anchor text link is the company name and it's a do follow link. Should I be worried or not? Please share with me your thoughts. Thanks, guys.
It sounds...
Meetup.com. Is that the same as the Tinder that Tim Capper's on?
No, this is the cosplay version of it.
Uh-huh.
I don't like the sound of this. I can't think how this site could be or is likely to have 4,600 legitimate meetups in 2.5 months. It's unlikely to me. And if this is the only source of backlinks, Google's going to get rather suspicious about it. You know, that is not a natural backlink profile. So, you know, I think we're back to the question of how much, if any, building of links one should indulge in these days. You know, if you build, then you've got to be very careful to build something that doesn't look built. In other words, looks natural.
It needs to be diverse. It should be from multiple sites, different texts, lots of different things that
Absolutely.
Yeah, should kind of diversify. All from one site is going to. I mean, granted, it's just the company name, but even then, you know, it's not as ideal. So it seems more of like running a trick than it does generating a kind of a natural theme for your website. So yeah, you really want to be trying to expand out and try to provide a situation where you're going to have an ability to get natural links, or use kind of be out there on more than just one site. Because I'm not familiar with the meetup.com kind of backlink report. But if you're also if you're reading marketing reports for a lot of the individual tricks, you're potentially going to get yourself into trouble. So just kind of be careful about that.
Okay. So the summary for Sam Ma is he has every reason to be worried about his links. Probably, though, Google will just ignore them. And having any number of links from one website is not going to do him much good. So I guess that's how we could summarize that. I'm recording that as a yes. Ibnu Rizal asked a question titled "The Difficulty of the Competition Keyword." How to evaluate or want to know the difficulty of the competition keyword?
There's the magic utterance that we all do here, which is SEMrush. SEMrush's competition ratings are pretty good. I've not for some time now, but I have compared their results with a kind of manual assessment of some SERPs, and it's close enough to my assessment for me. So work out what you want to target from whatever tools you like. You can use another part of SEMrush. You can use Google's keyword tools. You can use Uber Suggest. You can use keywordtool.io. Any of a multitude of sources of keywords, key phrases, and pop the ones that you're interested in into SEMrush's competition tool, and it will give you some nice numbers. And as I say, I think they're pretty good.
I think SEMrush is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I should add that SEMrush is kind enough to give all of our panelists a copy of the Guru version of SEMrush's toolset. I used it today. Well, not except you, David, only up until today. All right. Brett Saltella-Mattia suggested www.theseoforums.com. I hope that's not your forum, Brett. Market Samurai was mentioned by Kyle Hook, and Dave Elliott. What did he say? He said, looking for the competition's domain authority and the link profile of both the site as a whole. Or look for the competition's domain authority and the link profile of both the site as a whole and the page that is ranking for the keyword. Well, that makes sense. Okay, let's tweet that and go to the next, unless anybody has anything to add.
Yeah.
Okay. Arthur Rodeliscu, a question titled "New Notifications from Within the Google Search Console." Is it? SDTT. Help me, guys. What's that an acronym for?
Structured Data Testing Tool.
Thank you. Arthur said, "Hello all. Has anyone seen the new notifications from within the Google Structured Data Testing Tool, and have any clues what they represent? Thanks."
I'm not sure what those ones are.
Anybody come across this one? Sorry, Arthur, we've drawn a blank. Tim is on the phone, I think.
Arthur actually answers it himself on the forum.
All right. Okay, he asked Dan briefly. What's that?
Which is SDTTBS, I believe.
Yeah. All right, let's tweet that and move on. Well, guys, we've done it again for yet another week. We've answered all of the questions asked on the SEO Questions community on Google+. We now move on to our weekly SEO News Roundup, in which we discuss topics of interest posted on the SEO News community. Here's one posted by David Rosam. Google adds store distance to product listing ads.
Yeah, so you can decide whether you want to save money or shoe leather. I think that's
how are they for accuracy, David? Any in your local area that you could test?
I haven't tried. You know, if my clients gave me money, I could go out and shop, but you know, I don't. So
I can't see its value. I mean, for argument's sake, say a site, an e-commerce site here in Tweed Heads. I mean, every distance in Australia. I mean, it's 1,700 kilometres to from here to Melbourne. It's about 1,800 from here to Adelaide. Heading north, it's about another 1,600 to Rockhampton. And when you get to Rockhampton, you're only halfway up the side of Australia. So I can't see that it being useful for many sites. Product listing ads are usually populated with data feed products from e-commerce sites. Generally, they've got one central point in a country. I just don't see the logic in it. Am I crazy?
do you want the short or the long answer?
Give me both.
The short answer is yes. The long answer, not the wrong answer. It's a right answer. The long answer is you're living in a land of great voids. You're not crammed into a small island like what we are around here. So, say I did this search here in Littlehampton, I might have a store that's here in Littlehampton, or there might be one in Worthing or Chichester, and I would then have to make up my mind whether it's worth getting in the car and paying petrol and stuff to go to one of the other places, or just nip round the corner and pay a little bit more. So I think that's if that does what it seems to be claiming to do, I think that's quite useful. But I don't know if it's only on the Google shopping ads. But anyway, it's I think it's a good idea.
Does it work on mobile?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense to me, because I think that's the scenario where you think, oh, I want to have this, I need this, and I need to buy this thing now for, let's say, this evening, this afternoon, when there's a need. So you cannot wait for something to be delivered.
No.
You know, I think it's on those occasions where this kind of information becomes very useful, because you might say, oh, I need to buy this because I'm entertaining people this evening. Where could I get, I don't know, whatever you need to entertain people. You just tap it on your phone and say, oh yeah, I can just go X meters that way and buy that and forget about it. So I can see many situations in which that kind of information is extremely useful.
Again, to me, it seems like not a good thing in that here's the poor old store owner paying contractors to put their products in a data feed and supply it to Google Shopping, and paying for the privilege to sell on Google Shopping. And then here's Google coming along and saying, oh, you don't have to go here, you can go to this one instead. Anyway.
Well, Google doesn't, Google essentially has to keep its users happy, right? That's the reason why why businesses are happy to pay money for more custom, as it were. So Google's primary interest is to return the relevant results to the searcher, whether that's organic or whether that's paid.
Yeah, but I mean, shopkeepers are users too. I mean, isn't the UK a nation of shopkeepers? Anyway, all right. Let's go on to the next. This one, Google Analytics, a guide to confusing terms. A useful guide for analytics newbies. Also posted by David Rozam.
Yeah, no news in it at all, but I just thought it was quite useful. I know lots of people who get really confused as to what they've got in analytics. I think analytics should have a complete redesign of its UI, so people who are not total analytics geeks can get something meaningful out of it. But that's a debate for another day. I just thought it was useful. It tells you what the various sections and reports are about, and I can imagine me pointing clients to that when they come up with lots of questions about what they're finding in analytics.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for that one, David. Here is another. What's that?
I don't know who this one's from.
This one's from David Rozam.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure if I think John Mueller is being completely clear on this, because he's saying that page speed as a Google ranking factor works, and he's saying that John Mueller said the faster you make the site, the more people are going to stay on your site, the more they're going to do on your site, the more they tend to recommend it to other people. So indirectly it is a factor. And that may well be true, but obviously page speed is also a direct ranking factor, one of those 200 or 300 factors that they have. I think it's a little bit sleight of hand to start talking about, it is indirectly a factor.
Well,
You go on.
The thing is, yeah, the post here is really, it's not anything new. It's kind of a rehash of what's been stated before. I mean, page speed, if you've got a very, very, very slow site, is a factor. But once you've gotten past a certain point, it's not a factor anymore. Then it just becomes an indirect area where the more you improve it for users, the more likely they'll stay on the site, and then indirectly it's a benefit. Now that's different when it comes to the mobile site, but on the desktop, this is what they've stated before when they rolled out. If your site's extremely slow, then yes, improving it will be better. But once you're down to, let's just take a number of like 3 seconds, no, improvement from 3 to 2 is not going to be a direct factor.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? If it's an improvement a minute, or perhaps 20 seconds, then that makes a huge difference. But if we're talking about 2 milliseconds, then that's not going to make a difference.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the other thing that I didn't think was quite right was that John went on to say the other part of service speed is more in regards to crawling. So how quickly we can crawl pages from your website. And that's not directly a ranking factor, but it does affect how quickly we can pick up new and change content on your site. Now, that sort of, is not right, in that Googlebot doesn't crawl your site synchronously. I mean, it doesn't pick up one page and then pick a link on the page and go to the next. Every visit from Googlebot picks up one page and one page only. It requests that page, and then there's nothing to connect it to its next action. I think you could have a page with a 30-second page load, and it wouldn't affect the crawling of Googlebot.
Well, I mean, this is where we talk about the size of the site. So what he's trying to say here is that if it's taking too long for Googlebot to load a page even, then that's going to affect you for how many times Google's going to crawl your site. So if you're a very big site and your crawl speed for the Googlebot is extremely slow, and you're making a lot of changes or adding a lot of new pages, not all of those pages or changes are going to be seen by Googlebot, because they're going to hit a cap through the day, and that's it. And so you're set for just those changes. So a faster crawl speed for Googlebot is going to actually play an impact to what pages can rank, which is what he's trying to get to, which is it's not a direct ranking factor. So it's separate, though, from necessarily, like, they're different concepts, different areas of what page speed means to a human versus to a bot. And that's what he's trying to get at here when he's talking about, like, for example, server speed.
Okay. All right, I must add that post was from none other than David Rozan. All right, so, and this one is from me. It's a post from AJ Cohn, and Google took manual action against a number of sites, it suggested that Google suggested to website owners that their outbound links were unnatural, and it relates to bloggers, getting a free copy of a free packet of cornflakes and writing about those cornflakes. Anyway, it went on to say, AJ Cohn, my hero, AJ Cohn shared it, and he said Google's outbound links penalty was over free product reviews. And the issue that Google has, hopefully Micah will still be here at the end of it. You're heading off to work, Micah?
Soon. I have one other thing I need to get to before then.
Okay. I've lost my train of thought there. Anyway. All right. Oh yes, the issue that Google has is that once upon a time, when people were selling links and trading links for cornflakes is what people are doing. They are virtually selling these links because they're accepting a free product with a monetary value in exchange for the link. That's the reason that they're getting this penalty, like a manual action penalty, for their practices. Google used to demote the site's PageRank, but of course these days PageRank is not visible, so that really isn't a cudgel that Google can wield. Did you like that, David? Cudgel?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, cudgel is a good word.
I'm actually surprised that nobody's mentioned Matt Cutt's old post about this area, where it used to be, oh, if it's small amounts and it's not significant, then that's okay. That's the one thing I haven't seen anybody mention when talking about this, which is kind of surprising, because it's a bit of a shift. It's not a surprising shift.
You think that they are now better at detecting them? It's simply
No, I don't think they're better at detecting, but I just think they're seeing people do more of it. I don't think they really want to go down this area. Or maybe the machine learning has gotten better at that. It's possible. But people have kind of gotten lazy on that. Oh, wait, no, this is manual action, so it's not machine learning. But, well, they could use it to inform what one looks like. But, yeah, I think it's expanded. I mean, it's been a common thing, but I think finally they're starting to address this area. But it would lead them more credibility if they could update from the past and say this is what it was and this is what it's changing to. I think that would go a long way, because it is a change. When previously you're saying it just doesn't need to be a lot to now, like giveaways are completely unacceptable in any shape or form. So. It's just something that, that should be aware of. And this is only going to expand, as others have been talking about, getting around some of these guidelines by renting things out instead of giving away, for sure. So, but for now, you can't do giveaways and allow those links to still be followed.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the next. This one is, I hope Tim Capper is off the phone, because this is a post that I did on a post from Tim regarding Google knowing of fake reviews and not removing them because they don't have a policy on it. You on the phone, Tim? Damn. Can somebody else fill in? Hopefully Tim will come back soon. Oh, well, okay. Well, we'll have to call that one a loss. But, I think, I mean, here in Australia, Census and the Fairfax Media Group are offering this. Well, I think it's the they are alleged to do it, and Census is alleged to do it because no doubt they'd sue me if I'm half wrong. But there are heaps and heaps of people offering free, not free, reviews composed by people in a boiler room, and so we end up with all these crappy reviews. All right. Nobody else have a comment? Okay, so it's that time again. It's thank you for watching. Nobody's watching us at the moment, but when you're watching this later, we thank you for your participation. Your interest in what we do makes what we do worthwhile, and we thank you for that most sincerely. We'll be back at the same time next week to do this all again.